digital roar. Brent's got tech, he's laying the lore. From circuits and chips to the cyber core. Plug in and we'll give you more. Matt's on the edge, watch those pixels fall. He cracks the code, solves it all. Dark web secrets, firewalls tall. In the cyber jungle, he's the call. Digital ascent, we're climbing high. Voices in the ether touch the sky. With tech and games and culture bright, come along with us, ignite the night. Sean's got the joystick, he's ruling the zone. Gaming world's his digital crone. From pixels to planets, he's never alone. In the realms we conquer, the seeds are sown. Jordan's gaming flair, he's got the beats. Pixel quests and high score feats. Pop culture vibes with endless repeats. In our podcast, he's on the streets. Digital ascent, we're climbing high. Voices in the ether touch the sky. With tech and games and culture bright, come along with us, ignite the night. Brandon's in play with a pixel blade drawn. Quests and controllers from dusk till dawn. XP stacking, the leaderboard's gone. In gaming's heartbeat, he's the spawn. Digital ascent, we're climbing high. Voices in the ether touch the sky. With tech and games and culture bright, come along with us, ignite the night.
Good evening, everybody. Hello.
Hello, hello.
We have
Hello.
we have all sorts of goodies in store. Mainly that Matt is a Fed.
I am trying out my Fed persona. You know what C Money and was it Strudel said to me, stuck, and I thought, what would it be like if I was a Fed? And here I am, Matt the Fed. What's up, Colt? Good to see you, brother. It is awesome to have you here in chat. Let's see. What do we got going on today? We're going gaming roundtable first.
I believe
So,
Also,
yeah, and
Brandon's
then
bald,
we'll.
just in case anyone was curious.
I
Yeah,
am bald. I am bald.
I heard that.
I guess I should change mine to Brent the Bald. It could be the Bald Brothers.
One day I'm
It's
gonna
a little
be
redundant,
Brandon
but
the
yeah.
haired, and nobody's going to understand.
I've got a little bit of like fuzz right now because I haven't shaved in a couple of days.
I don't know where my clippers
Uh-oh.
are, so I'm
Sloppy.
moving, and I have no idea where my clippers are. So like my hair that I do have is like it's out of hand. Like
It's good stuff. No, I like it. I love it. It's good stuff.
I'm looking like my dad.
A very roguish gentleman he must be then.
Imagine a bald dwarf. He's 5'4". He's got a big beard. He's bald.
5'4"?
Yeah.
Oh,
Tiny man.
no.
Bro, you're fucking with me, dog. He's 5'4".
5'4".
You're not 5'4". Is your mom a giantess of some sort?
No. What's
She's
funny is
6'8"?
he has an uncle who's over 7 feet.
Wow.
Well, had an uncle. At this point, I'm assuming he's dead. But
Yeah.
Damn.
That's an incredible spread.
That's I was gonna say that's a huge spread there, huge swing in height.
Man, the
I feel
stuff we
small
learned.
around my wife's family because they're like, I think the shortest person in that family is about my height, and everyone else is 6 foot and up. So I'm
Yeah,
just sitting there like
my
in the
in-laws,
background.
Short boy. You
my
got 5'11",
father-in-law, and all
3/4.
his brothers are all like six, like he's 6'3", and he may or may not have told me that he was going to, if I hurt his daughter when we were dating, he was going to kill me and drop me off in the Everglades.
Man, what a nice guy.
Yeah. Found
Seems-
out
seems
like
like
a decade
bonding.
later that it was actually my wife emailing me from his account.
That's pretty good.
Okay, is that real or is that a bit? No, that's real. She was
100% true.
That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
She
It was
never
a
told me
test.
this.
It was a test just to see if you stuck around right
Yeah.
after that threat.
Abuse test. That's awesome.
Mandy said, "I love her." Haha.
Yeah, I think Sam would like that too. Sam would find that, great amusement, or to be great amusement. You know what I mean? Whatever. Who cares?
So, what have you guys been playing?
Man, I'm still grinding Stardew. I'm now officially over 100 hours. And considering that's been 100 hours with my wife, I think that makes that the highest ROI game I've ever purchased at like $20 or something like that. So, that's awesome. I'm still working through Back to Dawn extremely slowly because I keep on playing Stardew Valley with my wife. And I'm reading the Live Ship Traders trilogy. I know it's not, a game, but I like to talk about books. I'm reading Live Ship Traders trilogy. I finished off the Farseer trilogy, which is part of like this overarching realm of the Elderlings, massive 15 book set. So that's been pretty cool. What you, Brent? What you been doing, brother?
This is going to surprise everybody. This is the exact same thing I said the last time.
It's not WoW, is it?
World of Warcraft.
Wow.
That's the appropriate response. No,
Oh,
more
man.
WoW. Really getting into a lot of in-game stuff that I haven't gotten into in the past couple of years. It's been Mandy and I. So, and that's. I mean, it harps on the same thing you were just talking about with Stardew. WoW has always been something I come back to, if not for anything else, but the fact that Mandy also enjoys it.
Yep.
And it's like the one thing that we can play together. So the ROI on that for me is huge.
Infinite, yeah.
And I don't, and that's a game where a subscription's required, right? Like if a new expansion's coming out, you got to buy the new expansion if you want to experience the content. So it still is a huge return on investment for me. I mean,
Sure.
out of every game I've played outside of Fortnite would be the only thing that would even be probably close in terms of something I always come back to in some way at some point.
God damn, bro. But in terms of ROI, how many hundreds of dollars have you spent on skins?
My ROI is definitely higher in WoW than Fortnite for sure.
That's not good,
For
man.
sure.
Because WoW is $15 a month every month. Are you spending
no.
like $40 a month on
No,
skins? What are you
definitely.
doing, bro? He goes definitely $40, maybe 80.
Definitely.
Mandy, what are you doing? What are you letting happen here, man?
But I will say, I mean, probably last 6 months to a year, I haven't touched Fortnite. So, I mean, I usually only have one game in that way that I'm actually like actively spending money on. And so right now that's WoW. Everything else I usually, turn off, disable if it's a subscription, or if I'm like regularly spending money on it, I just turn it off. But yeah, WoW's been great. Doing multiple alts, so alternate characters and getting them situated. Doing a lot of guild stuff, raiding and stuff, hanging out with a huge group of folks and like trying the same boss for 3 hours straight. Yeah. It's fun for a little bit. And then
Wow.
yeah. That's what I've been doing though. Literally have not, I don't think I've booted up anything else except for a little bit of Donkey Kong Bonanza here and there, like in the mornings. I'll just sit here at my desk before work and play a little bit of Switch and work on collecting bananas. But that's about it.
Cool, man. What you, Brandon? The bald?
Same as last time as well. I've been playing Slay the Spire.
Yeah.
Every time I sit down at the computer and think about playing a game, I'm like, I'll fire this up. I've dabbled in a few other games, like just trying them out. There's a game called Strange Horticulture that is free. The
Was it
other
good?
week on it. Yeah, it's about horticulture and a little bit of eldritchness in there. So it's pretty good. It was free, and I have wanted to play it for a while. But just never pulled the trigger on buying it. But yeah, just Slay the Spire. I've put 50 hours in over the last month.
Wow.
And trying to. So I have previously beat all of the characters on A20, Ascension 20, for those that don't speak Spire, which is like the highest difficulty. I had previously beat all of the characters, but it's been a long time at this point. Like I don't even know how long, but it's been a long time. So I found that I was not doing good enough to even potentially get there. So I said, "Self, you're gonna get better at this game again." And so I've tried to slow down, really start thinking strategically about card choices and stuff like that. And yeah, it's working out. So I beat A20 on Ironclad, which is kind of a melee based kind of character. But now I'm going the Silent, and then there's the Defect and the Watcher that I'll have to do, which I really should have went Watcher first because I don't like her.
Yeah.
She's probably, if you know how to do to play well, probably one of the easier to win. But you have to do math.
Mm-hmm. A lot of it.
And
Frequently.
when I have to do math in my game on a regular basis, I have failed at finding the best game for me. I do have to have a calculator with me so I can add stuff up, because if I can't do math in my head. After Child 3, I stopped being able to do math in my head.
Yeah, that was
Somewhere
either
around
that.
Child 3. Speaking of reading, though, I read the last book that has been written in the Mark of the Fool series. Great
The which one?
series? Mark of the Fool. It's just a lit RPG. No, it ain't. I don't know if it's lit RPG, but it's a progression fantasy kind of book. And then started rereading the Bobiverse.
Yeah, I cruised 4 books there, and then I went to start the 5th. I think it's the 5th, and I was just like, I can't do it, and I put it down. And that was the end of
I've
that.
only read the first 3, which was the original trilogy, and then
Yeah.
kind of had a stopping point.
Yeah.
I never read the 4th because it just never felt like it, and I probably still won't, because I'd have to like buy the 4th one. But that first trilogy is just really well written.
It's
The
good.
pace
It's
is,
good.
like, it's just snappy. They're like 10-hour books or something like that. I could be wrong about the second 2.
No, that's about right. I think that they were like 12 hours. I did book on tape, and they were like 12 hours or something book on tape, and they were, man, like they were really good. Not like once again after I confirmed I did cruise the 4 books, and then the last one I just was like, can't bring it in me to care anymore about this. I'm done.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Lots of
Good
Slay the
stuff.
Spire and Picross. Always Picross.
Yeah.
Always playing some
Damn
sort of
Picross.
Picross
Yeah.
in the margins there.
Cool. Well, I guess that's a sweet transition to current events. We'll be talking about Silksong first. Silksong is the second in, I guess, what we will call the Hollow Knight series. I don't know what else to call it. It's by Team Cherry, an Australian game developer. They released their, the first game I became aware of them anyways, or regarding when I became aware of them, Hollow Knight, back in 2017. It's an indie Metroidvania, and it was really good. It was hard. I did not finish it, but it consumed, 25 hours, which as far as Metroidvanias go is pretty good for me. Did either of you guys play that one? Play Hollow Knight at all?
I did. I was not good enough
Mm-hmm.
to let me actually I didn't like the aesthetic
Wow,
enough
really?
to want to get good at it. Cause like I tend to not like things that are really dark and black
Mm-hmm.
and like I tend to like colorful because I got more into Ori and the Blind Forest, which is another
Mm-hmm.
Metrovania that came out around that same time. Those two were like um, both quite big. I think Ori didn't quite have the legs that Hollow Knight did,
Mm-mm.
but yeah, the just the lack of color, I think, kind of turned me off to that game. Um, but and I highly recommend watch speed runs of people playing that game.
Mm.
Highly entertaining.
Amazing. Oh
Really?
my god.
Maybe I'll
Amazing.
check that out. You know, I really struggle with Metroidvanias. I feel like I'm forever bumbling. Where do I go next? Which is the right path? And you know, like even with a map, they're still hard for me, unfortunately. And I can only put in so many hours before I'm like, ugh, no more. I die all the time because I don't play them very much. So you know, there's definitely a skill problem from my perspective, unfortunately.
What I find amazing about Silksong
Hmm.
is the utter amount of anticipation and
Yeah.
hype and like beyond anything. I mean, is there a triple A game out there that has this amount of like anticipation? Like I can't think of anything. Maybe
Mm-mm.
GTA 6 would
Yeah.
probably be above that. I mean, I've never played a Grand Theft Auto game, so I take it back. I did play GTA 3 way back in the day. But it's just amazing that this little indie game is like the one that is breaking the internet when it finally gives a release date.
Yeah.
Which
Hmm.
one is the release date? Did they? It's September.
Dude, it's the 4th. It's
4th.
coming up. Yeah, I've definitely thought about buying it. It's right around the you know it's right around the same price as the last one, which is crazy. You know, they only asked $15 for the last Hollow Knight, and um I feel like I got it on sale for cheap or nothing, basically. And they're releasing the Silksong for $20, which is amazing because the last one came out 8 years ago. And as everyone knows, you know, average price of like AAA game is now like 70 and or $80, maybe. It's not good. And you know, price of everything it feels like is going up. And, you know, given how like how successful Hollow Knight was, I think that they like if this is a similarly like sized game, I bet they could charge $30 and sell it. But like they're selling it for 20, and you know what I'm reading is that people are like ecstatic with it. I've seen no complaints and lots of people going, "Wow, you're really going to sell it for that cheap? I guess you can do that." It's you unheard of.
I think there's going to be a ton of people that do exactly what you just described yourself doing. Is that it's like I'll probably play this at some point, $20, whatever. Like for
Yeah.
a great indie team, a great game.
Mm-hmm.
I'll play it at
Yeah.
some
Support the
point. I'm just
game.
gonna go ahead and buy it for $20. You know,
$20
Mm-hmm.
is a break point for me with games. Once it gets above 20, it you know you feel it a little bit. So anything above 20, don't get me wrong, I'd rather spend like $2 on a game.
Sure,
That's
but
my MO.
apparently this Team Cherry, I just looked this up. Team Cherry only has 3 people that are like full time part of the company. It's
Yeah,
impressive that you know such a small team can make such you know a like desired game. And honestly, it's kind of an like interesting theme that you kind of see people like small teams from indie developers that you know maybe don't do a bunch else like are cranking out really amazing games. And you know
Hades is
AAA
a good
people are
example.
putting out like 80s is
Super
another
Giant,
great indie game.
Super Giant game, right? Super Giant Games. So
Sounds right to me.
I think so. Yeah, I love the art style
there's
of that,
another one
the
that's
writing and the art
sort of
style.
Yeah, Super Giant Games. I like Hades. The way that that game took over, like, just a significant portion of the gaming community, and I thought it was weird because it was in early access and it had a lot of hype and people liked it, and it was just it was a great game. And oftentimes games that are in early access, they have their hype curve during early access, and by the time they actually get to 1.0, they've kind of got their steady
Mm-hmm.
player base, and it's not really going to get, they may get a little bit of a bump, but they're not going to, like, they've got their community. But I thought it was amazing how Hades was had a steady rise during early access, and then it went 1.0, and then it just shot through the roof. And it was just crazy. If you haven't watched the No Clip documentary series, uh, it's wonderful because it goes through the journey, but then it kind of takes there's like an extra one he didn't plan to do that is all about how big it became.
Mm-hmm.
I love the stories of indie developers that hit it big, um, and oh, the best one. I know we're going off on tangent, but Tarn, it's Tarn Adams, the Dwarf Fortress guy.
Oh man, another game that's on my like. Should I buy this list? I'll tell you what. The only reason I haven't bought Dwarf Fortress is because I'm concerned it's not playable on the Steam Deck.
Yeah. I don't think it would be a good Steam Deck game.
Like,
I could be wrong, but that does not feel like it would be.
I'm
Okay,
trying
so yeah, Tarn
RimWorld.
Adams.
Yeah, go ahead. You go ahead.
Him and his brother, sorry, brother of Tarn Adams, that I don't remember his name. They built Dwarf Fortress for free for what, 20 years? I don't know.
Yep.
I can't remember when it came out. 2002. So 23 years it's been in development. But they really didn't make a lot of money off of it until, well, I think it was his wife or somebody. No, not Tarn. His brother's wife. Oh, goodness. Anyway, medical issues. And they're like, hey, I guess it's time to do this. We need to be able to, and it's just going through the roof as well. Not Hollow Knight, Hades through the roof, but Dwarf Fortress has a very passionate community, and I love watching people play it. I've tried to play. It's like Universalis Europa Universalis
Mhm.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4. I think they just announced 5.
Yeah.
I've tried to play that game. I've tried to play Dwarf Fortress. It's just one of those games that I've tried to play, and I know that if I don't commit to playing this game every week for months, I am not going to be able to retain the stuff that I'm learning. And I just never
It's like
have gotten.
Stellaris. Yeah.
I really want to, though, especially with Dwarf Fortress.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know how it is, man. Find the free time. When you do, share some with me, please. I could use some of that there free time. Maybe as a Fed, I could petition the federal government to give me some. What do you guys think?
It's possible.
Think it'll work?
It's possible.
I spent all day cleaning my new office and like putting stuff away and figuring out what nook and cranny to put this tool and that thing. I am so happy. Like, my desk is clean. All the wires are tied up. I'm just happy. So
Well,
maybe I'll
you.
have a little time, is what I'm saying. That was the through line of that thought. Was
that
now
you,
that I've got
you may have some.
Yeah, maybe I can have some time.
Okay. Well, you should give some to me, or maybe you know what? I'm a Fed now. I'll just come confiscate that shit. How about that? That's illegal to have. I'm gonna need it. Give it. You better give it to me. That's how that works now, right?
State now. Sheesh.
I think that's
well. I'm a Fed though, so that's no big deal for me. So if I was an officer, then that might be a problem. But I'm the Fed, so I'm the big man.
But you'd have to go through effort.
Yes, I guess that might actually diminish my own free time. So where's the ROI in that shit? Okay.
Speaking of that.
Let's see. Yeah. I guess we can move on from that. We'll talk about the CHIPS Act and the New Deal. So we try not to get political on this podcast, but sometimes there's just some stuff that you like feel like it's worth talking about. So here we go. So in 2022, the federal government passed something called the CHIPS Act. This was, or the goal, as I understand it, I am not a politician or a lawmaker or whatever. I'm just a tech enthusiast, cybersecurity enthusiast.
And a Fed.
Yeah, well, I guess I am a Fed, but not this type of Fed. So my understanding is that the goal of this was to basically spend a ton internally and take a bunch of our tax dollars and give them to tech companies to help them onshore their chip building process. 2020 was a huge wake up call for everybody. Suddenly we couldn't get chips into the US that were supposed to go in cars. And, I'm sure everyone heard the stories about cars, that were sitting in lots waiting for CPUs to be like installed. And we couldn't get them because they came in from Taiwan and everything was shut the fuck down. So in response, the Biden administration, did the CHIPS Act, is supposed to provide $52 billion in subsidies, grants, and incentives to encourage people to build semiconductor labs here, like fabrication labs here in U.S. There's 25% investment tax credit. So if you do it, then you get a tax credit on top of that. This would have applied to labs, R&D, workforce training, and to help of building up national labs and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, I personally was like really excited to see that. I think that being able to onshore our own chip production sounds really fantastic. A lot of chips come from like Taiwan, and it's separated by the ocean. It's got, really like a hostile geopolitical entity right next door that wants to take it. And, if we look at what's happening in Ukraine, when war comes, a lot of industry shuts down, right? Because bombs and explosions are extremely disruptive to human life. The drumming up of people and conscription of people is, disruptive. You were, a developer. Now you're an infantryman. Good luck. Either way, your chips aren't fucking coming out. Anyways, so there's been some changes to this deal that I've just been talking about here. And the federal government is now discussing that maybe instead of just giving Intel this money to help them because it's in our national security best interest, that instead maybe that the U.S. government should own a 10% stake in Intel. I think it's actually a 9.9% stake. And I don't know, like that's just it's wild. I would love to hear from chat if anybody's heard that of stuff like this before, because I've never heard of this occurring in our history where we're like, federal government's like, I'm going to give you money. I mean, I'm sure it has happened somewhere in history where the federal government's like, I'm going to give you money. Well, you've taken that money, but now I actually own part of you. And congratulations. So, look, there you go. Little apple bubble. So I don't know. Is this an American value? I don't know if that's really a part of our podcast. I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on this?
I think Brandon's doing some quick research. I'm curious
yeah,
too.
I have heard there have been. I think. Well, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
Like the U.S. government has,
and it's
like
U.S. usually been, I think, either like some sort of helping of
like a bailout, like the Freddie Mac bailout, like that happened, but that was different, right? We weren't like
on some of one of the auto companies in 2008.
Yep, we did it too, but those were bailouts. That wasn't like a, hey, we're going to give you a bunch of money to incentivize you to do this thing, and then actually what we meant is that now you're going to give us part of your company as compensation for that. When that wasn't the deal, right? Like I'm sure Freddie Mac understood when the government was buying it, and Fannie Mae, that when the government was buying them, that the government was buying them. And the same thing with the automotive industry bailouts, where I do think you're right. Some of that happened. I don't think that there was a bait and switch where they were like, this is a freebie off the taxpayer because national security and so on and so forth. I don't know.
Yeah,
This
that was
one
General
runs just
Motors
like,
was
there it
who
is.
we owned
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, but they like bought themselves out of it, right? Like that's how that's supposed to work. Like they pay back the shares and they buy the government out, and the
Yeah,
the
I mean,
taxpayer
at a
gets their
loss
money
as
back.
well.
Yeah.
So we've taken the
Mhm.
10% stake. I thought it was just like proposed, but
Oh wait, hold on. We took like you're saying that
everything I'm
happened.
seeing is
in
that
the
we
past.
have the federal government has a 10%
Wonderful.
stake
That's great. How do you think?
Wow.
Hey,
in Intel.
how do you think AMD feels about that situation right now?
Where's AMD based?
I think that AMD is a Taiwan-based company.
I believe so.
No.
Nope.
Santa Clara, California.
That's interesting. I thought that AMD was I didn't think AMD was an American company. Well, look at me be wrong. I'm ignorant.
I didn't either. Yeah. Or maybe
No,
I'm thinking
they
somebody
make their
else,
chips
but
in Taiwan probably, but
They are indeed U.S. company, headquartered out of Santa Clara, founded in Santa Clara, California, founded in 1969. Wild.
nice.
Okay, well, that's great. That makes this an even more relevant question. How do you think AMD feels about this situation? Do you think they're going, how comes the government doesn't want a 10% stake in me? I would like to onboard some chips here in America.
I don't know what to think about.
Yeah, right.
It's
That's
so
wild.
weird.
At the same time, now you're beholden to this government.
yeah,
Does that
I
feel
don't know
like, does
that I
that
can
feel
really-
good?
I searched for Ukraine games because I wanted to talk. I was thinking about developers that have had to play game or
Mhm.
develop their games through this war.
There's been a
But
few released
under
that
the
have been
people also
good.
ask, one of them is OnlyFans legal in the Ukraine? I'm just like, okay, sorry, distracted.
What?
I don't know that I can really give opinions without going too political in terms of how I feel. I will say this, that it's just weird, and I
It's
don't like
weird.
the precedent. I don't like the
Yeah.
precedent of but I do want so okay. I don't necessarily like the idea of us just giving money to Intel just to be like, please come over here, here's money. So there's a part of me that likes the idea of we're going to get a return on that investment more than just infrastructure if it works.
Brother, I think the
don't-
return is that you get to continue to have computers when World War III starts. That's that's what you're investing in.
Well, but I don't
Like, I mean, like, I
trust
hear
that
you. I
if
want
you
money
give it
back
to them,
too.
I don't think
but
that they're going to do it. Like, I don't trust that Intel would do it. Like,
Well,
if we give them billions of dollars, I wouldn't trust any company to just be like, okay, I'm going to do the thing and have less money in the future. Like, companies aren't going to do that. So I guess that's what I'm saying is like,
I mean, once all the factories are here, they can, during like, once again, this is all like national security stuff. During wartime, they can, I can't remember the act. There's an act where you can basically conscript companies and force them to build shit that they don't want to build. Like we were like during World War II, we were able to conscript alcohol companies, stop building whiskey, stop brewing whiskey, and start making rubbing alcohol. And, once those things are here, we can force, like, I mean, like during war, that's what this is like. That's what this is all about. We can force Intel to build chips whether they want to or not. And let's be honest, if their Taiwan plants are shut down, they're going to want to build chips. Like, we aren't going to have to make them do anything. They're just going to want to do it.
Yeah.
anyway, it's weird. I don't,
It's
like I
weird.
said, I don't like the precedent. but I also, I guess I don't care that
Mm.
much.
Brent, what about you? Do you like this?
I mean, I agree. It feels weird. It also makes you think. You talked about the bigger picture, right? The
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 biggest.
World War III and stuff like that. It does sometimes these sorts of decisions kind of seemingly out of left field sort of deal. It makes you wonder what they know that we don't
Yep.
sort of deal, long term or otherwise. What decisions are being made in the background for this to be some sort of
It's like 4D chess move
very
that we
small
can't
piece
see.
of the
Yeah.
puzzle. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's something there. Maybe this is 4D chess. I don't know. It definitely breaks a lot of precedents. And, I think uncomfortable is a good way to describe how it makes me feel too.
I mean, we've seen a lot of this, right? Like this is, I mean, I don't have any
Yeah.
specifics necessarily. I mean, just pull up Google News and go read whatever your favorite media outlet is. We're not going to get into who
Yes, go
aligns
go
with
pick.
what side, but go pick.
Yeah,
And the
literally
funny,
anything for the last 10 years.
right? I mean, yeah, we've had a lot of this sort of thing occurring, especially with tech. That's the reason why this keeps getting interweaved with our podcast, is because
Mhm.
more and more it seems to be heavily rooted in political uh precedents in some
It's
way or
very
another.
frustrating.
Yeah, and technology is growing. Some things, some industries, cybersecurity, AI, things like that, are growing so fast that there are no laws for a lot of this stuff. So like people are
Absolutely.
scrambling. And so we're kind of like in the damn Wild West here with some of this stuff. And I feel like, it's almost like who acts first is the one that sets the precedent. And I think the government is really, really trying to catch up with a lot of this shit and kind of, cross the T's, dot the I's, try to put something on paper before it's too late and someone else controls the reins, if that makes
Yep.
sense. And I mean, how long have we been, back to the original point of this. Let's take, World War out of the equation. We've been arguing that so many more jobs should be moved over to the States anyways, in a lot of ways. And obviously there's a lot of work in chip manufacturing, potentially anyways. I mean, there's a chip in every damn thing these days, right? Um, I mean, I feel like it's in our best interest just as a nation to do it in a lot of ways. I'm not saying completely pull overseas, or the outsourcing out of the equation, but I don't know, and then there's the economic, uh, impact as well. What is that going to do? If we were only manufacturing here, what does that do to cost? Because I mean, 90% of it, I know there's heavy margins, right? Like Intel probably doesn't need to charge us as much as they're charging us to manufacture. Like it's not costing them $800 for a whatever the hell, i9 they're manufacturing or whatever it is these days. It's not costing them $900 to make that chip in mass. Could we get a better deal? I'm sure. But if they're trying to make the same profits once they move it over here, what is that going to do to our pockets in terms of if we want to build a new PC or buy this device that has an Intel chip in it? I don't know.
I feel ultimately that I like that we're doing something to get chip manufacturing into the US. I don't know how I feel about how we're doing it, but the overall goal of getting chip manufacturing in the US, I am for. So I guess I'm uncomfortably optimistic that
It's a
it'll.
bittersweet because I don't think it was done for the reasons we just outlined. I don't think it was simply done because we want to get it over here to the US. I think there's factors that we're unaware of as a US citizen of why they're really putting money into this and pushing this direction.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I don't. I think there are plenty of things that can be done without ownership of the company that can incentivize a company to like do what you want. There's lots of options. It
Well, I
doesn't
also
have
think
to
if
be
it
that.
was that quote unquote easy, we would have done it
Yeah.
long before now.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I don't know. All this shit rubs me the wrong way. Even as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm going, well, we're invested in this company now. What if the government needs to write legislation to
Always
that
love how this thing
damages
breaks.
that that damages the company, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's like that's gonna like lose the taxpayers' money. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just it's take pen, throw it at the wall.
Yeah.
That's frustrating. I don't know.
Okay.
All right,
I say we beat that drum
about
and we go on to
frustration.
something else.
Right, I could talk more about it. I don't know. All right, let's talk about the next frustrating thing. All right, do you guys, do either of you guys want to lead this one, or you just want me to keep barreling on through?
You barrel because I'm trying to pull up the notes again. I had used
All
that
right.
tab to.
Cool. So, TransUnion got hacked. It's awesome. You know,
God.
I was gonna say, does this really surprise anybody?
yeah. I mean, look,
point?
man. At least it's not as bad as the Equifax hack. This time, only 4.4 billion people were impacted, not literally freaking everybody.
That's true,
And
yeah.
yeah, they are saying they got popped. They released it to up through Maine's legal channel. So thank you, Maine, for having laws that require disclosure of this type of stuff. They're saying it's names, email addresses, phone numbers, and addresses. Uh, in this case, I'm willing to bet that it's that it's addresses for like your historical addresses, also that they use to challenge who you are. So everyone's going to be able to reset your password now for TransUnion. Have fun with that. Thankfully, though, there's that little bubble again. So cute. And thankfully, though, they're offering credit monitoring for and fraud assistance for the next 24 months. So if you're impacted, you can sign up for that. Before we get into the technical details, you guys got any thoughts, feelings, or opinions about that bag of bullshit, basically?
It's just another hack. I mean, it's the nature of our civilization right now. And
Yep.
I know we're going to get into the things that you can do and you should do them, but for these companies, I feel for them. I really do, to a degree, because it doesn't matter how good you try to be, you're going to get hacked at some point.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, I don't like that. I don't like that attitude, but I understand, and like I partially ascribe to that attitude. Like that one's really hard because
I should say you're as liable as anybody. Don't get me wrong. If your company, there are companies out there that are making stupid choices and
Yeah.
not doing their due diligence.
Oh, there's
to
some
be
really
secure.
bad stuff out there. It's really interesting meeting some of these people who are like, yeah, we work with healthcare. Like I have no shit met 2 people within the last 2 weeks that were like, yeah, my company has millions of healthcare records. No, we don't have a single person dedicated to cybersecurity, but I'm the sysadmin. And so, I'm kind of in charge of cybersecurity. And like, I'm the closest thing we have to a cybersecurity person. And it's like, wow, that's like a hot take, man. Nobody dedicated to cybersecurity. Like, I know what it takes to be a sysadmin. It's a lot of freaking work. And, cybersecurity is a lot of auditing. And it's like auditing is time consuming. And like, if you're doing your sysadmin work, you're probably not doing your cybersecurity auditing as often. Just like because who has 80 hours a week or more? I don't know.
You do, being the Fed. So what happened?
Yes. All right. So what happened? All right. This is allegedly done by the group called the Shiny Hunters. Shiny Hunters have been hammering people via social engineering. They've been specifically targeting the gating access through Salesforce and then stealing company data. I think the next most recent one of these that I recall was Workday that happened like a month ago or less than a month ago, where they said somebody gained access to Salesforce data. And, there's lots of data that wasn't, really like hacked, but that a lot of top level data, what companies sell, like what companies use Workday, and then contact information of like how to get in touch with that company. As I understand it, anyways, that stuff was released, which sucks because that's definitely a breach beget breaches situation. Because now I, as the hacker, know that you work with Workday. So I can call in and instead of going, well, shit, these guys use Workday or ADP or, some other like thing, I just call in and just start right in on Workday. Oh, I'm your Workday account rep. I'm your new Workday salesperson. I'm the Workday VP of this, that, and everything. And I'm, heard that there's some problems. Let me help you. Whatever it is for your targeted hack, it's way easier when I can say things that sound legitimate, right? If the assigned sales rep or something is there, that's great. I can call in and pretend to be that sales rep or send emails like that. I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. There's lots of options.
Yeah.
There have been a bunch of companies that have been hit by this year. Google Farmers Insurance, Allianz Life, Workday, Pandora, Cisco, Chanel, and Qantas.
It took me way too long to realize you weren't telling me to Google a string of words.
No, I'm sorry. These are people who have been impacted by this by this same
Like,
Salesforce
Google,
hack.
blah, 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 blah. And I'm like,
All right, no, don't Google. All right,
people, not
sorry.
tell them to go Google.
No, all right. Let's try that. I guess
Sorry.
that's Qantas. Qantas? I don't know. Chanel, Cisco, Pandora, Workday, Allianz Life, Farmers Insurance, and Google have all been impacted by this like Salesforce data theft shit show. As far as I can tell, and reading through these things, I guess any questions before I get into like more of the details about this stuff? No. All right, cool. Brent, can we do pictures in here? Can I copy pictures in the chat? I can't. There's no way to do that. Whatever.
You would have to share
Tell them what to Google to
your
get the
window
picture.
through the thing.
No, it's too much. I mean, maybe. I'll try. Give me this.
While he's doing
No.
I'll
I
point
got
out,
it.
this is King Thor.
I love that picture.
All right. I got it. All right. So, Google released a white paper on this that, tells you like what's going on in there. There's a pretty low diagram they call the attack path diagram. It's like about halfway down, not quite. And it goes over like, how does this happen? So basically what happens is the attacker shows up and they call somebody that has some sort of administrative, access. And, least privilege access is one of those things that you're supposed to enforce and make sure that, only the fewest people that absolutely possible need in for as little time as possible. But, whatever, it's hard to freaking do that. So they call in and they social engineer the person into giving them their credentials. It's really, it's a lot easier if you call in and you say, hi, I'm with the Workday Salesforce team. Thank you. They call and they go, hi, I'm with the Workday Salesforce team. And, we need to fix your shit, basically, or whatever they're going to say. It doesn't matter, right? But the goal is to get the person to give up the credentials. And then they persuade the person to open up a like Salesforce app that they've created, that the attacker has created. And then they get the user to connect in the bad actor's app by putting in their like administrator or semi-administrator credentials. And then they use this data loader application, which is a specific tool within Salesforce that can add, remove, and like mess with data. And then they're able to go in and just scoop it on out like a big old shovel. And I mean, look, man, it's like it's the same thing that we see over and over again. It's this recurring social engineering attack that we're seeing hit. I think it was the MGM stuff was, same concept, social engineering attack. Show up, pretend to be somebody, get credentials somehow, and then actually use those credentials to create and cause pain. And it's pretty unfortunate. It's not like really that surprising. This is a good flavor of the week, right? That's happening. I really feel like 2025 has been, and I mean, like, I can't wait to see the statistics on it, but I think that 2025 has really been a heyday for social engineering attacks. It's crazy. It's something that I feel like I talked about regarding, at DEF CON, when Social Engineering Village saw people just giving up information left, right, forward. Like, once again, I saw a person, like somebody I never talked to before. They just called them and was like, "Hey, I'm with this gym's corporate, and I'm doing an audit. Do you guys have any cameras?" And the person was like, "Yeah, we got cameras, but the ones in the front don't work at all." Okay, check that off my list. Right? Like, it's crazy. How valuable is that information to somebody that's looking to like run your shit? And this is a very similar attack. You show up, you get them to be like, to connect you in, and then you just go scooping data, and they don't even realize it's happening because they don't have their shit together. So
I think
this
there is
sucks.
a sense of security that companies get with third parties.
Mhm.
So like with TransUnion, they're using Salesforce. So obviously it's secure because Salesforce
So
is
for big company,
securing
they got it.
their stuff. But you have the access, and if you give that away, so I think
Mhm.
there is a false sense of security that using third parties creates sometimes.
And Salesforce is a lot to do. I've done Salesforce security audits before, and there's a lot of knobs to turn in there. And some of them are definitely production impacting knobs, and some of them aren't production impacting knobs, but they um they will like slow down your security, like, or sorry, not your security team. They'll slow down your help team because they can't impersonate users and this and that, and like they're not sure how to fix it. And sometimes your Salesforce people who are helping people aren't your help desk people. So they don't actually have, like that Salesforce person isn't going to have, access to the remote help software that gives you, like ConnectWise control style access to a person's computer. So using those impersonations, like tool sets really useful, but it's, kind of dangerous. And so there's a lot of like, ooh, that's convenient, but how, it's kind of risky to use. So you got, it's constant balance of security, right? How convenient versus how dangerous it is,
Yeah.
and or how secure it is. Um, okay. So we can talk about, you know, and Brandon wanted me to say this exactly like this for the record. This is a request from him. He said, Matt, make sure you read it like just like in the notes. So the note is, how can you harden yourself? So if you're wondering how you can get hard against these, I'm here to I'm
That's why you did the
I'm here to
mustache.
help you out. Yeah. Wait, what? No, I got the mustache because I'm a Fed. Now.
Sure.
Now I'm a Fed.
That's your stage name. I got it. Now
I'm
I
gonna
understand all
not.
of
I'm gonna not. I'm gonna be a Fed tomorrow morning for my stand up, and then I'm probably done. Maybe there's a Mario bit somewhere in there also that makes its way to the
It's
forefront. But
amazing.
then, yeah, I had at least one person I show this to go, "Do you show up and just go, it's a me, a Mario?" For whenever you get into a room, it's good stuff. She's a lot of fun. All right, so how do you get hard against this specifically? Uh, one is least privilege access. Not everybody needs to load tools. Um, Loading tools is you just got me on full screen here. What is this? Uh okay, where was I?
I
Not
messed
everybody
you up.
should not everybody should be able to do the data loader stuff. That's about move as far as I understand that has a lot to do with moving large amounts of data. There's probably more that you can do with them. Like I don't know. I don't know everything every feature of Salesforce can do, but not everybody needs this. Just like not everybody needs admin rights and or to be able to install their own software or run any PowerShell script they come across. So least privilege access enforces not quite as important as patching in my personal opinion, but it's a great step in. I would say it's a great layer in your security ogre or security onion, however you want to put that, for um for minimizing your blast radius and containing an oopsies. You got something,
I
Brandon? I could
think.
see it. I could see it in your face.
Well, I think that least privilege is important for these social engineering attacks
Yeah.
more than
Yeah.
other
It's really important.
because you can only access what you have access to.
Yeah.
And if you get social engineered, doesn't matter. I mean, we've all said it. Like that's the end that everybody's
Yeah.
again. So
You know, I think I actually want to amend. I said least privilege is not as important as patching, and I don't necessarily feel like it's true. It's hard to make a decision like that because least privilege isn't as important as patching as long as you already have some least privilege in place. But you know, if you were like, hey Matt, what's more important? Making sure my servers are patched every month or making sure that, you know, not everybody is a domain admin. I would be like, okay, well, let's take care of that domain admin problem, buddy, because who cares about your patching? Everybody's already an admin anyways. What are you going to escalate
I
to?
don't even remember which company it was,
Oh
but
my
I had a
God.
client that literally everybody was a domain admin.
Dude, I met a guy at the Know Before Con, and then I've seen him a couple of times since then. I saw him at DEF CON, and he said that this is a cool story he has told me multiple times. So I think it's true because I've seen him tell it to multiple people over the course of 2 years where he goes, my boss is setting up a computer for somebody, and he goes, don't worry, you can install any software you want on there, and we're not going to monitor that at all. In fact, we're going to make sure that you have those administrative rights, and then points to, you know, my guy. I don't know. It's like, says, give him the local admin rights like everyone else. And they said that he said, he works at a college. He says that they hand out computers and they give local admin rights to all the computers that go to all the students and all the teachers. And like, it's crazy. I'm not even sure that's their biggest problem. I've heard a bunch of the stories. I think like maybe it is. Maybe it's the story that he told me about how they went to go retrieve a backup and they found that the only backup they have was the one from 6 hours ago. And
Oh, I
there
remember that. You shared that. Oh, that was painful.
dude, that was great. So then his boss goes on to talk about how they don't need what they really need to be doing instead of like fixing this backup shit show. What they really need is a hot spare at their secondary site that's in another building, like a few like a block away or something.
Yeah.
And like it's like, brother, work the basics, man. What do you like hot spares are really cool, but like you aren't even checking your daily backups. How are you going to check your hot spare failover capability? Like that takes actual effort. Jeez. I got more stories like that. It was a mess. Sorry. All right. More about getting hard.
TransUnion,
Yeah. TransUnion
Salesforce.
getting hard against Salesforce attacks. Okay. You need to review and audit your connected apps rigorously as part of the recommendations here. That one's, more time consuming stuff. It's hard. It's detailed work, but that will help ensure that persistence is, getting clipped off and, it'll stop people from, just letting stupid stuff get popped. Like it'll stop things from getting popped and then people worming in through ways that aren't being used or reviewed anymore, so on and so forth. They did call out that Tor is one of the tactic techniques procedures here. So leveraging an IP based authentication is recommended. I don't know if you can do like geo filtering. You probably can in something like
Surely Salesforce.
yeah, right. That's kind of what you probably should, geo enforce that stuff. I recommend something like if you're a US based company, do something like US, make exceptions for people who need it. If you don't have a work from home or remote workforce, just lock it down to your business IPs. And then, it's really hard for people to get in. As usual, there's a normal recommendation of enable MFA, though MFA will not save you here because you just connected the app yourself and put in your MFA.
Yeah.
So,
That's the social engineering is the way around MFA.
yeah, it really is.
That's how people are getting around it.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And then the last one is they recommend enabling Salesforce Shield. It looks like, and I don't once again, I don't really know a ton about all of Salesforce's offerings. It looks like they're event monitoring and alerting services though. I'm unclear if that's an extra cost. I doubt anything up to this point is. I think they're not going to charge you more to have less users type of thing in terms of least privilege access. So that's the skinny here. It sucks. These social engineering attacks are really dangerous, and it sucks. I don't know. I don't really have any more thoughts about that.
I feel like I've seen maybe not the industry as a whole, but I feel like I've seen a subset of the industry, or at least, well, I mean, maybe so. Maybe it is the industry. I feel like we have let off the gas a little bit with awareness on the social engineering side because we've been, it's almost like sleight of hand of you got AI over here shining. It's like, what can AI do? How is AI going to hurt me? How can AI help me? Blah, 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 blah. We're thinking about AI constantly.
Yeah,
We're not thinking about Nancy at the front desk who has local admin and domain admin. And someone called her and asked her for the keys to the castle. And she gave, unknowingly gave the keys to the castle. It's like, oh shit, AI had nothing to do with this. This was one human calling another human and tricking them into getting access to our company. But we're over here toying around with Gemini and Chat GPT and every other model, and how we can lock those down and not get hacked using those. And we're back to the basics.
Trying to get a failover site and not worrying about our backups.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about it. I think there's certainly I've seen this time and time again with companies I've worked for, with companies I've worked with company like you talking about stories, battle stories, if you will, war stories of companies having a hard time deciding what to focus on and what to put resources into, whether it's time, it's money, it's tools, whatever. And I get it because it's a struggle. I mean, a lot of these companies don't have, I think the main resource constraint is most oftentimes time. It's, we've got the resource to do it, but this resource only has 40 hours a week. Obviously that ranges. People get pushed a lot harder than that in our industry, every industry, but IT is certainly one of them that gets abused. But, we can only allot 40 hours to this thing. How do we best use that time? And like you brought up a good point on the cybersecurity side of things, man, that's a full-time job in and of itself if you're doing it right.
It's I mean, honestly, it's more than a full-time job.
Right.
Like I have so much to do. And every month that I spend at my organization, I find another audit that should be getting done.
Yep.
And I probably should have been doing the whole time but like literally nobody's ever thought of doing it before. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, we never look at that. Sometimes it's stuff I didn't even know existed. Hold on. Oh, what exists? Who's looking at that? Oh, nobody? I guess I am now. Another rock I have to pick up every month, look under, put it back down.
I've seen more and more with all the efforts, because in most of our businesses, right, our goal is to be proactive about most
as much
things.
as possible.
I
It's
feel
not always
like
possible,
the harder we try to be proactive, we end up at the end of the day being reactive to a lot of things. Like, and I feel like the reactive things always take precedence over the proactive things because you got to respond, right? And I feel like that is where the efficiency is lost. It's this like vicious cycle sometimes of let's react to this thing, and now let's determine how we can proactively not have to experience this thing again. But in the midst of all of that, we've gotten hit by another reactive thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it keeps going. It's just this vicious cycle of that. And you're very lucky to come out the other side and say, okay, we're caught up. What was that proactive thing we were working on 6 months ago? Let's go back to that thing. And I'm not saying that's the case for everybody. I think it's applied at different scales for different companies. It depends on the information you have and the business you're doing and the tools you're using and the resources you have allocated. And when I say resources, I mainly mean the people. Some people are just more efficient than others at getting that type of work done. But that's how I feel, how I've seen, especially like the managed services provider side of the industry, which is really like the whole business model is that proactive piece. And I don't know. I just see a lot of reactiveness day in and day out. And in almost every role I've been in, the huge time sink is that reactive piece.
It's hard.
So, yeah.
It's hard, man. It's hard to invest. A lot of time the proactive stuff is also a time sink in and of itself.
Mhm.
And You know, even worse, a lot of it is like when I file under recurring time sinks, like the audits, least privilege access audit's a really important one. And,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a huge time sink. Like I would say that, hunting, like reviewing admin accounts and like being like, well, should they really have that level of access? Should this person still be, is this person still here? Should that, should that account be logging in at that time? Like it's honestly like one of my most time consuming audits. And it's like, it's hard to donate, you know, or I should say dedicate, 8 hours to something like that. And like, really, I wish I could give it 2 days worth of time, just kind of like take my time and peel over it. And I just like, who has the time?
Mm-hmm.
It
One of the
sucks.
one of the dangers though is that with Salesforce and your people rely on IT, but when we're talking about Salesforce, a lot of times those are getting into the marketing department, sales department. You know, basically the security that IT enforces sometimes stops at some of those third parties, where you know whether it's the department went and got this solution itself and never even went through IT.
Oh God,
And
brother.
since cybersecurity is usually wrapped under IT, so even if like IT is doing great, um, if you're not using the practices that they've done because you didn't go through them to get this new solution, but that's why it's so important for companies to and with a company like TransUnion and start, but just communicating like between departments, and the bigger the company you get, it's harder to figure out. But yeah, I think sometimes we get in that trap where the administrators aren't the people who are setting security policy.
Yep.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Hmm. All right. I don't think I had any tips on how to get hard here. So I think
Look at the
it's
beard.
good stuff. It's good stuff. Get a beard. Does that get you hard against
I
these?
said, look
I
at the
don't.
beard.
Oh, look at the beard. Shit, bro. I don't really understand how that gets me hardened against this, but if you say it does,
I
then
don't know what you're talking about.
well, getting hard against social engineering, bro.
This is why my family can't listen to this podcast.
It's not a family friendly podcast at all.
I never promised it would be,
Because of
man.
Matt.
Because of the Fed, damn it.
Yeah, it's more fun though this way, right? It's way less fun when I'm like trying to behave myself. It's way more fun when I'm, talking about getting
Everyone's
hard.
holding their tongues constantly. Can't
Yeah.
say what they really feel.
No, it's way more fun when I can talk about getting hard, specifically against social engineering attacks. For the record,
That's true.
just making
Although
sure
it
to
will be
clarify
taken out of
that.
context and clipped by somebody, I'm sure.
No, nobody would do that. I
Yeah.
can't think of a
Is that our
single
last
person
topic?
in my life right now.
That was our last topic, I guess.
That is our last topic.
That
That's
is our
it.
last
We
topic.
out. Or we're out of topics. I don't know if we out yet. We can be out though, I guess.
I mean,
Whatever.
any closing thoughts besides what we've covered? I mean, we covered a lot of stuff in terms, and a lot of it's redundant. We've covered a lot of this in the past. Maybe the one thing. What's the one thing that someone should pull out of this?
Enable MFA.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know, man. Maybe this one specifically is least privilege access for these. I think that's the one here. Reduce the amount of people who could theoretically screw you over. And
All hell
you will
King
get screwed
Thor is
over.
what Mandy pulled out of it.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a good take, if we're just being
And then-
honest.
I think that what I would, I'll take Mandy's. I was going to say Silksong's releasing.
Ooh, yeah, that's a
September
good one.
4th. But King Thor, that's definitely the most important.
Well, there we
This
go.
is also a map of Discworld.
That's awesome. I turned somebody onto that like within the last year. I was like, they had never read any Pratchett, and I was like, brother, go read some Discworld. It's interesting. I read his
So
book,
wonderful.
and I was like, your writing reminds me of Terry Pratchett, And he was like, I don't know who that is. I was like, go read some Discworld, bro.
If you're
Oh.
trying to write that kind of satirical fantasy, or
It was sci-fi version
sci-fi
of
as
it.
well.
Yeah,
you know,
it was. Yeah, it was very tongue in
Hitchhiker's
cheek.
Guide to the Galaxy is right along the same lines.
Yeah.
Of that.
Yep.
It's a masterpiece. Well, that I'll say King Thor is my closing argument.
I like it. Alrighty. Love you guys and gals. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll see everybody next time. Hopefully, maybe with a special guest. We'll
Bye.
see.
Yeah, that's what we're
We'll
hoping
see.
for.
That's what we're hoping for. Bye, guys.
All right, peace.
Bye.
Tune in tight to the digital roar. Brent's got tech, he's laying the lore. From circuits and chips to the cyber core. Plug in and we'll give you more. Matt's on the edge, watch those pixels fall. He cracks the code, solves it all. Dark web secrets, firewalls tall. In the cyber jungle, he's the call. Digital ascent, we're climbing high. Voices in the ether touch the sky. With tech and games